Hello everyone, welcome to the Foundry Forging and Welding Lab. Myself Anil Kumar MM. I am working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Today we are going to discuss one of the major experiments in the Foundry Forging and Lab, that is the Foundry practices. Before going to do the experiment, first let us know how the molds are prepared and what are the steps involved in the casting and what are the terms used in the casting. These things you have to know before going to do the molding process. First let us discuss what I mean by foundry. Foundry, it is nothing but it is a place where the castings are produced. Okay, where we have to produce the castings, that place we can call it as the foundry or foundry shop. Okay, this foundry, it is classified into two types. One is the ferrous foundry and another one is the non-ferrous foundry. Okay, based on the type of material which we are going to be cast, based on that material it can be classified into two types. One is the ferrous material, ferrous foundry, and another one is the non-ferrous foundry. What do I mean by ferrous foundry? Ferrous foundry is nothing but only the ferrous materials are casted. Okay, only the ferrous materials are casted. That place we can call it as the ferrous foundry. For example, for casting the steels and the cast iron, these materials can be casted in a particular place. That place we can call it as the ferrous foundry place. Okay, coming to the non-ferrous foundry. Non-ferrous material means only the non-ferrous materials is casted. Okay, that is called as non-ferrous foundry. Example for the non-ferrous materials, that is aluminum alloy, copper alloy, magnesium alloy. These things are casted. Okay, that place we can call it as the non-ferrous foundry place. Okay, next discuss what I mean by casting. Casting is nothing but it is one of the oldest type of manufacturing process in which melting the metal and then those metal can be poured into the mold cavity and then allow for solidifying. Okay, after solidification, just we have to taken out that solidified part and cleaned it, and that solidified part we can call it as the casting. Okay, casting, it is nothing but it is a melting the metal in a furnace. Okay, the required type of the material, if you are going to prepare the steel casting, just you have to melt the steel material in a furnace, or if you are producing the non-ferrous castings, just you have to melt the non-ferrous material in a furnace. So melting the metal in a furnace and then that molten metal can be transferred into the mold cavity. After transferring that, just you allow for solidifying, just changes the state from liquid to solid. After solidification, just you have to taken out that solidified part and just remove the unwanted materials which is present on the solidified part. That means adhere, sand particles, runner, riser, everything can be removed, and then that solidified part we can call it as, that is the casting. Okay, next, what are those steps involved in the casting? Okay, if I are going to do the casting, means the several steps involved. The five basic steps involved in the castings are, that is the pattern making, there is a core making, mold preparation, melting and pouring, and cleaning and inspection. First one, what is pattern making? Pattern, it is nothing but it is a replica of an object to be cast. That means a duplicate object. Okay, so which we are going to be cast. That is called as the pattern. Pattern, it is nothing but it is a replica of an object to be cast. Okay, this patterns, with the help of this pattern we can prepare the mold, and these patterns are made up of either wood or metal or wax or plaster of Paris. These are materials are used to prepare the pattern. Okay, that is the first step, preparation, preparing the pattern. Okay, the pattern is nothing but it is a replica of an object to be cast. With the help of this pattern we can prepare the mold. Next, coming to the core making. Core, it is nothing but it is a preformed sand mass that is used for producing the hollow cavities in the casting. Okay, the cores are used to prepare the hollow cavity. If you require any hollow cavities in that casting, just we can place the core. Core is nothing but it is a preformed sand mass. Okay, the cores are prepared with the help of the core boxes and using the core sand. Okay, and the mold preparation. Next step, you have to prepare the mold. The mold are prepared with the help of the pattern. Okay, just you have to place the pattern inside the mold box and then packing the sand tightly around that pattern until the top surface. After that, just we are withdraw the pattern from the mold. At that time, the same shape will be left in the mold. Okay, that is the preparation of the mold. Next, melting and pouring. Okay, preparation of the molten metal required for the casting we can call it as the melting. Okay, melting is nothing but that preparing the molten metal which is required for the casting. Okay, that is called as the melting. So the material, the required composition of the material can be melted in that furnace, and then after melting just you can transfer that molten material into the mold cavity and then allow for the cooling. After that, the cleaning and inspection. After the completion of the solidification, just you have to withdraw the solidified part from that mold and then cleaned it. Okay, just you have to remove the unwanted materials from the solidified part. That means the adhere sand will be there, and then the runner, riser, everything will be removed and send it for the inspection to check the dimension and then check for the defects. Okay, these are the 5 basic steps involved in the casting process. Okay, first we have to prepare the pattern. After that, just you have to prepare the core, and then we can prepare the mold with the help of the pattern and then the core. After preparation of the mold, just we can melt the material. After that, just we can pour that molten metal into that mold cavity, and then we send for the cleaning and inspection. Just you have to removing the cleaning the solidified part, and then just you can checking the dimension and then the defects. Okay, these are the 5 basic steps involved in the casting process. Okay, in that casting some of the terms will be used. Okay, those terms are, one is a mold box, parting line, pattern, molding sand, sprue, riser, pouring basin, core print and vent holes. Okay, these are the terms used in the casting. Okay, first one, there is a mold box. Mold box is nothing but it is the metallic frame, either it is made up of wood or metal. Okay, it is a metallic box. Okay, this mold box is used to prepare the mold. Okay, this mold box, it consists of the 2 parts. The upper part we can call it as the cope, and the lower part we can call it as the drag. Okay, mold box is nothing but it is the metallic frame. It is used to prepare the mold. It consists of the 2 parts. The upper part we can call it as the cope, and the lower part we can call it as the drag. Next, parting line. Parting line is nothing but that is the dividing line or center line. It is a dividing line or separation line between the cope and the drag box. We can call it as the parting line. Okay, parting line is nothing but it is a separating line between the cope and then the drag box. Next, pattern. Already told that the pattern is nothing but it is the replica of an object to be cast. Okay, the pattern is used to prepare the mold. Okay, pattern is nothing but it is a replica of an object to be cast. Next, molding sand. Molding sand, it is nothing but it is the mixture of base sand plus binders plus additives. You can call it as the molding sand. Okay, nearly the 90 to 95% of the molding sand is the base sand, and the 6 to 12% the binders will be added, and along with that a small amount of water will be added, and the small amount of additives will be added to the base sand. So the mixture of the base sand, binders and additives, we can call it as the molding sand. With the help of this molding sand, we can prepare the mold. Next, sprue. Sprue is nothing but it is a vertical passage provided in that mold. Through that sprue, the molten metal is enters from the pouring basin into the mold cavity. That is called as the sprue. Sprue is nothing but it is a vertical passage through which the molten metal is flowing from the pouring basin to the mold cavity. Next, riser. Riser, it is nothing but it is a vertical passage which stores the molten metal while pouring, and then it supplies the same molten metal into the mold cavity during solidification. Okay, that is called as the riser. Riser is nothing but it is the vertical passage. It stores the molten metal while pouring and supply the same molten metal into that mold cavity during solidifying. Next, pouring basin. Pouring basin is nothing but the small funnel shaped cavity is provided at the top of the sprue. You can call it as the pouring basin. In that pouring basin, we can pour the molten metal. Okay, it is a funnel shaped cavity is provided at the top of the sprue. We can call it as the pouring basin. In that pouring basin, we can pour the molten metal from the ladle into the mold cavity. So that molten metal flow through the sprue and enters into the mold cavity. Next, core. Core is nothing but it is a preformed sand mass that is used for producing the hollow cavities in the casting, that is called as the core. Okay, the core is nothing but it is a preformed sand mass that is placed to produce the hollow cavities in the casting. Okay, that is called as the core. Core print, it is nothing but the small projection is provided in the pattern for locate the core correctly inside the mold cavity, that is called as the core print. Core print measurement, it is a small projection is provided in that pattern to adjust the locate the core inside the mold cavity. Next, the vent holes. These are the small holes is provided into the mold for escape of gases or air from the mold. Okay, that's called as the core vent holes. Okay, vent holes is nothing but these are the small holes is provided into the mold to easy to escape of gases and air from the mold. And next is the gate. Gate is nothing but it is a short passage is provided into the mold. It helps to flow of molten metal from the sprue into the mold cavity. Through that gate, the molten metal enters into the mold cavity. Okay, these are the terms used in the casting. Okay, one is there is a mold box. Mold box is nothing but it is a metallic frame. It is used to prepare the mold. It consists of two parts. There is a upper part you can call it as the core and lower part you can call it as the drag. Next, parting line, that is a dividing line or separation line between the cope and the drag box, you can call it as the parting line. Pattern, it is a replica of an object to be cast. It is used to prepare the mold cavity. The pattern is used. Molding sand, it is a mixture of base sand, binders and additives. It is used to prepare the mold. The molding sand is used. And then the sprue, it is a vertical passage through which the molten metal is enters into the mold cavity. And riser, it is a vertical passage. It stores the molten metal and it supplies the same molten metal during the solidification. And then pouring basin, it is a funnel shaped cavity is provided at the top of the sprue. In that you can pour the molten metal into the mold. And then the core, it is a preformed sand mass. It is used to prepare the hollow cavities in that casting. Core print, the small projection will be provided into the mold, easy to locate the core inside the mold cavity. And then vent holes, these are the small holes is provided into the mold to escape of hot gases and the air from the mold. And then the gate is the shortest passage through which the molten metal it enters into the mold cavity. Okay, these are the terms used in the casting process. Now coming to the advantages. The advantages of the casting process means there is no size limit. Okay, from smaller size to bigger size of the casting or large size of the castings can be produced in the castings. Okay, and the mass production is possible and good surface finish and high dimensional accuracy can be achieved. Okay, and the uniform properties can be maintained into the castings. Okay, these are the advantages of the castings. Okay, and then the complex shapes can be easily produced compared to the other manufacturing process. Okay, these are the advantages. Coming to the disadvantages, one is the defects. The casting it produces the defects like blowholes, porosity that will be formed during the casting process, and it is not economical for small components. Okay, and these are the disadvantages of the casting process. And coming to the applications, it is used in automobile industries, aerospace industries and shipbuilding. Okay, the heavy components can be produced by using the castings. Also it is used to produce the ornaments that can be casted, and also used in the kitchen utensils that can be manufactured by using the casting process. Okay, and also the engine frames, blocks, that connecting rods that can be manufactured by the using the casting process. Okay. Now let us discuss what is the procedure involved in making the green sand mold. Okay, the various types of sand molds are available, but in the foundry shop the most commonly used type of molding sand, that is the green sand mold. Green sand, it is nothing but it is the sand is in the moist state. Okay, it having the moisture content. That sand we can call it as the green sand. Okay, the green sand, it is the mixture of base sand, binders and then the additives. Okay, so some of the 4 steps will be involved for making the green sand mold. Okay, first step is initially we have to prepare the green sand which we are using for preparing the mold. Okay, first we have to prepare the green sand. Green sand is nothing but it is a mixture of base sand, binders and additives. Okay, additives will be added, and along with that the small amount of water will be added. Okay, base sand is nothing but it is a plain sand without having any ingredients. That sand we can call it as the base sand. Okay, generally the silica sand is used for preparing the mold. Okay, silica sand is used as the base sand, and the binders binders is nothing but it binds the sand particles together and it imparts the strength to the base sand. For giving the strength to the base sand, the binders will be added. In generally, the bentonite or clay is used as the binder. Okay, around 6 to 12% of the binders will be added to the base sand, and also some of the additives will be added to enhancing the properties of the green sand, or for enhancing the properties of the base sand. Some additives will be added. Generally, the commonly used additives are iron oxide, silica floor and corn floor. These are the additives will be added. Okay, so initially you have to prepare the green sand, okay, by mixing the base sand, binders and the additives. After preparation of the green sand, just you have to place the drag box in a flat surface. Initially you have to take the drag box and that drag box placed on the flat surface, and then you can place the pattern inside the drag box. Okay, the first step is just you have to place the first you have to prepare the green sand. After that, just you have to take the drag box, that means the mold box. The lower portion you can cut as the drag and upper portion of the mold box you can cut as the cope. First you have to place the cope box in a flat surface, and then we can place the pattern inside the drag box. After placing the pattern, you have to fill the sand which you have prepared earlier. Okay, that green sand is filled around that pattern and then rammed it. Okay, that sand is tightly packed around the pattern and it fills the mold box. Okay, after that, with the help of the strike of bar, we can remove the excess sand on the top surface of the mold or top surface of the drag box. Okay, after that, then the next you have to invert the mold. Okay, after the complete filling the sand at the top of the mold box, just you have to invert that mold. Okay, at that time the pattern it faces at the top. Okay, after that, just you have to sprinkle the silica sand at the top surface of the mold. Okay, just to avoid the sticking of the pattern from the cope box or from the molding sand. Okay, after that, just you have to place the cope box over the drag box, and then the suitable sprue and then the riser will be located in the appropriate position. Okay, at the required position. Okay, after placing the cope box over the drag box, okay, next you have to place the sprue and then the riser to the required location, and then again after that, just you have to fill the sand around the sprue and then the riser. And then it completely fills the sand into the cope box. After that, just you have to remove the sprue and then the riser. Okay, after removing the sprue and then the riser, just you have to place the cope box beside. Okay, and then just you have to remove the pattern from the drag box. Okay, just first you have to take out the cope box beside, and then you can remove the pattern from the mold. At that time, the same shape of the pattern will be left in the drag box. After that, again you have to place the cope box into the over the drag box, and then the mold is ready for the pouring. Before that, just you have to pierce the holes into the molding sand, which will helps to allow the escape of gases and air from the mold. Okay, these holes we can call as the vent holes. These vent holes are provided into the cope for removing the or allow to escape of gases from the mold. After that, the mold is ready for the pouring. Now we can melt the material in a furnace, and that molten metal pours into that mold cavity, and then allow for solidification. We will get the required casting. Okay, required size and shape of the casting. Okay, these are the steps you have to follow for making the green sand mold. Okay, first step, you have to prepare the green sand. Green sand is a mixture of base sand, binders and additives. Just to mix up well, and you can prepare the green sand. Okay, after that, just you have to place the drag box in a flat surface, and then you can place the pattern inside the drag box. After that, just you have to fill the sand around the pattern and complete the mold. Okay, after that, just you have to invert the drag box. At that time, the pattern will be faces at the top. Okay, after that, just you have to place the cope box over the drag box, and then you can place the sprue and then the riser in the required location or appropriate location, and then again you can fill the sand in the cope box. Okay, after that, just you have to remove the sprue and then the riser from the cope, and then you can place the cope box beside, and then remove the pattern from the drag. Okay, once you remove the pattern from the mold, at that time the pattern left the shape, the required shape in the drag box. After that, just you can place the cope box over the drag box and then pierce the vent holes. These vent holes helps to allow the escape of gases or air from the mold. Then the mold is ready for pouring the molten metal. Okay, these are the steps followed for making the green sand mold. Okay, the advantages of the green sand mold: it is easy and simple process and less expensive. Good surface finish can be achieved. This is suitable for the mass production. Okay, and the disadvantages is because of the moisture content, it cannot be stored for longer period of time, and difficult to achieve the high dimensional accuracy and good surface finish. And for making the green sand mold, some of the tools will be used. Okay, those tools are, that is the shovel, mold box, trowel, round rammer, strike of bar, lifter, gate cutter and vent rod. These are the tools is used for preparing the green sand mold. Okay, shovel, it is a steel pan attached to the long wooden handle, wooden rod. Okay, and this shovel is used to mixing and reconditioning of the mold, green sand. Okay, just for mixing and the conditioning of the green sand, the shovel will be used, and also it is used to transfer the sand from the container to the mold box. Okay, initially you have to prepare the sand in a container. So to transfer the sand from the container to the mold box, the shovel is used. Okay, it is a steel pan base and the long rod will be, wooden rod will be attached to the steel pan. Okay, that is called as the shovel. Mold box is nothing but it is a metallic frame. It is used for preparing the mold. The upper part of the mold we can call it as the cope and the lower part we can call it as the drag. Next, trowel. Trowel is nothing but it is made up of iron and the wooden handle will be attached. It is used for finishing the top surface of the mold. Okay, for finishing purpose the trowel will be used. Next, the rammer. Rammer is used to striking the sand around the pattern as well as the corners. So the rammer will be used. The rammer, it is made up of either metal or wood. Okay, there are two types of rammers will be used. One is a round rammer and wedge rammer. Okay, wedge rammer is used to packing the sand at the corners of the mold. Okay, next, strike of bar. Strike of bar is it is a flat bar. It is made up of either wood or metal. This strike of bar is used to remove the excess sand from the top of the mold. Okay, just for removing the excess sand, the strike of bar is used. Next, lifter. Lifter, it is a finishing tool. It is used to remove the loose sand it is present in the mold. Okay, for removing the loose sand and for the finishing the mold, the lifter is used. Okay, next, gate cutter. It is used to cut the gate. Okay, it is a sheet metal, thin sheet metal. Okay, made up of thin sheet metal, and this gate cutter it is used to cut the gate. Gate is nothing but it is the shortest passage through which the molten metal it enters the mold cavity. For cutting the gates, okay, the gate cutter is used. And vent rods, it is the thin metal rod. Okay, it is pointed at the one end, and this vent rod is used to piercing the hole into the cope box. Okay, this hole is used to remove the escape of gases from the mold. Okay, these are the commonly used tools for preparing the green sand mold. Okay, one is the shovel. The shovel is used for mixing and reconditioning of the sand and to transfer the sand from a container to the mold box. And mold box, it is used to prepare the mold. The upper part we can call it as the cope and lower part we can call it as the drag. And trowel, it is a finishing tool just for finishing the top surface of the mold. The trowel is used. And then a rammer, it is for packing the sand inside the mold box. The rammer is used. That is, there are two types of rammer, round and wedge rammer. And strike of bar, it is made up of metal or wood. It is used to remove the excess sand from the mold. So the strike of bar is used. Lifter, it is a finishing tool used for removing the loose sand whatever present inside the mold. So the lifter is used. Gate cutter is used to cut the gate in the mold. The gate cutter is used. Vent rods, it is used to piercing the small holes or vent holes in the cope. Okay, these are the commonly used tools in the green sand mold. Okay, now I will demonstrate how the green sand mold is prepared. Okay, these are the tools used for preparing the green sand mold. This is the shovel. Okay, it is a steel pan at the one end, and the long wooden handle will be attached to the shovel. This shovel is used to mixing and reconditioning of the green sand. Okay, and also to transfer the sand from the container to the mold box, the shovel is used. And this is the strike of bar. It is made up of wood, and this strike of bar is used to removing the excess sand from the mold. And these are the rammers, and this is the round hammer, and this is the sledgehammer. Okay, these rammers are used to striking or ramming the sand into the mold box. Okay, and this is the pattern. Pattern is nothing but it is the replica of an object to be cast. It is a single piece pattern. It is made up of only one piece. Okay, and this is the split pattern. It is made up of two pieces, and it is named as a split pattern. Okay, these two pieces can be aligned with the help of the screw spin. Okay, and this is the vent rod. This vent rod is used to piercing the holes into the cope box for removing the escape of gases from the mold. The vent rod is used to provide the vent holes in the cope box. Okay, and this is the runner, or nothing but is a screw just for pouring the molten metal. Okay, it provides the vertical passage through which the molten metal enters into the mold cavity. And this is the riser. Riser, it stores the molten metal. It is a vertical passage. It stores the molten metal and send the same molten metal during the solidification. Okay, and this is the leaf trowel. It is used for finishing the surface of the mold. And this is the lifter. It is a finishing tool used to lift the loose sand from the mold cavity. And this is the gate cutter. It is used to cut the gate. Okay, it helps to flow of molten metal. It enters into the mold cavity through the sprue. So the gate cutter is used. Okay, this is the base sand. Okay, it is base sand is nothing but it is the sand without having any ingredient. That sand we can call it as the base sand. Nearly the 90% of the molding sand is the base sand, and remaining 5 to 6% the binders will be added. In our lab we are using the bentonite is used as a binder. Okay, and then the water will be added. The mixing of the green sand binders and then the water, we will get the green sand or molding sand. Okay, that molding sand is used for preparing the mold. Now I am going to demonstrate how to prepare the green sand mold. Okay, first step we have to prepare the green sand. Okay, green sand nothing but it is a mixture of base sand, binders and additives. Okay, this is the base sand. Just we are adding the water and then the binder to the base sand. Okay, okay, that is the preparation of the green sand. The green sand, it is a mixture of binder and the water. It will be added to the base sand. Now the green sand mixture is ready. So now we can prepare the mold. After preparation of the green sand, for next you have to clean the mold box. Okay, mold box, it is made up of metal frame. It is used to prepare the green sand mold. Initially you have to clean the mold box. After that, just you have to place the cope box beside, and the lower part of the mold box you can call it as the drag, and upper part of the mold box you can call it as the cope. After that, just you have to sprinkle the silica sand into the inside the drag box. Okay, this silica sand, it's avoid the sticking of the green sand to the flat surface. Okay, just you have to place the drag box in a flat surface. After that, with the help of the shovel, you can add the green sand into the mold box. I am adding the prepared green sand into the drag box. After adding that sand, with the help of the sledgehammer, we can striking the sand inside the drag box. I am striking or ramming the sand inside the drag box. I am using the round rammer for striking the green sand inside the drag box. So the green sand should pack at all the corners of the mold. It should completely pack in all the corners of the mold. So I am using the sledgehammer to pack the green sand to all the corners. Pack the sand till the top surface of the drag box is reached. After packing the sand, just with the help of the wooden strike of bar, just we are removing the excess sand from the mold. Okay, I am removing the excess sand from the mold. Next, take the leaf trowel for finishing the top surface of the drag box. With the help of the leaf trowel, I am finishing the top surface of the drag box. Now you can piercing the hole, that hole you can call it as the vent hole. This vent hole helps to allow the escape of hot gases or air from the mold. So with the help of the vent rod, I am piercing the vent holes. After providing the vent holes, just you have to invert the mold. I am inverting the drag box. Just with the help of the leaf trowel, I am finishing the top surface of the drag box. After finishing the top surface, now I am sprinkling the silica sand to avoid the sticking of the cope box to the drag box. I am sprinkling the silica sand over the top surface of the drag box to avoid the sticking of the cope box to the drag box. Now I am marking, so just I am marking the center. For marking the center, just I am making a line from the opposite corners. And now we got the center. Now we can draw the center line. I am drawing the center line. Now you can mark the square shape to the required dimension. The square, it is given 100 mm. So you can mark the 50 mm in both the sides from the center. You can mark 50 mm both the sides, and I'm marking the square shape of the mold cavity to the required dimension. The depth of the cavity is given, that is 25 mm. This is the square of 100 mm. Now we can mark the gate. The gate is nothing but it is the shortest passage through which the molten metal enters into the mold cavity. Now I am marking the gate. After marking the gate, we can place the runner and riser to the suitable location. This is the runner, that is nothing but it is the sprue, and this is the riser. This riser is used to store the molten metal and supply the same molten metal during the solidification, and this is the sprue, nothing but it is a vertical passage through which the molten metal it enters into the mold cavity. After placing the runner and riser, we can place the drag box, and then it can be aligned with the help of this pin. Okay. After placing the drag box, we can fill the green sand into the cope box. I am filling the green sand into the cope box. I am ramming the sand in the cope box with the help of the sledgehammer in all the corners of the mold box. I am packing the sand and ramming that sand into the cope box. You can fill the sand till the top surface of the cope box. After filling the sand of the top surface of the cope box, just I'm filling the sand till the top surface of the mold box and ramming it. After that, with the help of the strike-off bar, I am removing the excess sand from the mold. I am removing the excess sand from the cope box. And with the help of the leaf trowel, I am finishing the top surface. I am finishing the top surface with the help of the leaf trowel. After that, just we have to piercing the hole, that means vent holes in the cope box. It should help to escape of hot gases from the mold. So I am piercing in all the sides the vent holes. with the help of the vent rod. After this, removing the runner and riser. Okay, I am removing the screw and then the riser slowly without damaging the cavity. Okay, I am removed the runner and then the riser. After that, just you have to place the cope box beside. Now I am going to create the mold cavity for 100 mm square of 25 mm depth. I am creating the mold cavity. With the help of the cutter. This is the hand cut model. With the help of the hand tools, I am creating the required size of the mold cavity. So with the help of the lifter, I am removing the loose sand from the mold. Now I have prepared the square shape of the mold cavity to the required dimension. That means there is 100 mm square with 25 mm depth. Now I am finishing the mold cavity. I am finishing the mold cavity. Now the finishing the base of the square. I'm finishing the base of the square. Now the required shape of the mould cavity of 100 mm square is prepared. Now I am going to cut the gate. Gate, it is nothing but it is the shortest passage through which the molten metal it enters into the mould cavity. So that now I am finishing the top surface of the drag box, and this is the required size of the mould cavity for 100 mm square and 25 mm depth, and this is the gate. Through the gate the mortar metal it enters into the mould cavity. Now we can prepare. Now we can place the we can prepare the square of 50 mm and 20 mm depth in the cope box. So the required size of the square is prepared in the cope box, that is 25 mm square of 20 mm depth. After that, now I am finishing the base of the square of 25 mm and depth of 20 mm. After that, you can place the cope box in an inverted position over the drag box. Okay, now I am placing the now I have placed the cope box over the drag box. Now the mold is ready for the pouring. Okay, we can the required type of the metal is melted in a furnace, and then that molten metal is poured into that mold cavity through the sprue. Okay, just we are pouring the molten metal in the sprue. At that time the molten metal it fills the mold cavity and stores in a riser. Okay, and during solidification the shrinkage will be takes place. So to avoid that, this riser, the stored metal can be supplied into the mold cavity by solidification. So this is the method for preparation of the green sand mold. Okay.